Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MightyMai show, episode 4. We're the 9th of February, and a lot of great things are happening in music. So I launched the music intro, and we're waiting for my world to jump in with us. And yeah, thank you for being here and for listening.
Je suis dans ce truc à la main, je suis dans ce truc et c'est fort. Je défends mon son comme si c'était un fort, je suis prêt à bondir à mordre. Oh non, je suis dans ce truc à la main, mais pour l'instant poteau j'évite la morgue. On vient, on le fait, on s'accorde, on te met une balle dans la tête si ça sort. Oh non, je suis dans ce truc à la main, je suis dans ce truc et c'est fort. Je défends mon son comme si c'était un fort, je suis prêt à bondir à mordre. Oh non, je suis dans ce truc à la mort, mais pour l'instant poteau j'évite la morgue. On vient, on le fait, on s'accorde, on te met une balle dans la tête si ça sort. Oh non, moi je reste concentré. Toi tu t'es contenté. Petit verre santé. Y'a le moins 10 heures dans le thé. Ok, moi je reste concentré. Focus, y'a deux micros dans la focus. 4 manettes c'est un bonus. J'suis dans l'écran et gros j'évite la police. Non t'es pas woke, non. Cerveau à fond du woke. Tu reconnais pas quand t'as tort. On veut plus de toi, t'es comme Louis XIV. Là j'fais un appel à la force. Demain les trucs que j'amorce. Je sais qu'un jour ils vont comprendre la force. Ils font des têtes comme si je parlais en morse. Drip down, la cime, j'arrive en bas les gigots. J'suis connecté, il attend un ISO. En noir et vert comme Chico. Stick comme Ricky sur Whitney. Big comme Bélier, BBA. Si je fais poser, que j'pars c'est fini. Je rentre dans le studio, il fait chaud comme au spa. Si je le dis pas dans un son, je le fais pas. Discret low qui comme un chant. Si je fais du bruit, c'est que je suis là. Et c'est la SMS sur moi. Et j'ai une SS sur moi. J'ai le 3 CD caché sous le toit. Paris est prêt à l'envoi. SAS chargé, prêt à l'emploi. Je suis dans ce truc et c'est fort. Je défends mon son comme si c'était un fort. Je suis prêt à bondir à mort. Je suis dans ce truc à la main, mais pour l'instant poteau j'évite la mort. On vient, on le fait, on s'accorde. On te met une balle dans la tête si ça sort. Je suis dans ce truc à la main. Je suis dans ce truc et c'est fort. Je défends mon son comme si c'était un fort. Je suis prêt à bondir à mort. Oh non, je suis dans ce truc à la main, mais pour l'instant poteau j'évite la mort. On vient, on le fait, on s'accorde. On te met une balle dans la tête si ça sort. Oh non. J'y vais là-bas, vite, j'y vais fort, vas-y, viens, j'y vais sur la glace, sans les patins, j'y vais, please, dans la neige sous le matin, yeah,
Alright, so we don't still have my world here, but that's the whole thing about the live events and being on the internet. Whatever, welcome here, and I hope it will be resolved soon so we can join with us. And I don't know if he is even hearing me. Whatever, so just to present the music I just played, it's about our new release at geniuscorp. Is an artist called Sadandsolo, and we're about to release the NFT later this week. So I just wanted to play his music before we start and we jump right into the topics and everything. So you can join us in CryptoVoxel or go and look at the Twitch to listen to the podcast or hear live in the Discord server. We're ready and we have a whole lot of topics. These topics will be about the Rolling Stone magazine that started to talk about crypto music. We'll talk about Mike Shinoda as well and Soulja Boy to continue the story we had last week about that. We'll be talking about new platforms as Zora and as well the distribution platform Ditto Music, which are a billion-dollar company that are investigating blockchain and developing tools to go DeFi with the music, the decentralized finance combined with the music. And so yeah, that's very interesting. And most of all, we will have our first guest here at the MightyMai show, and this will be Studio Nouveau, which are two artists working together in the NFT space and that are doing brilliant things. We will talk about this later and play the music as well. So yeah, we will play as well as usual some crypto music from the metaverse. And big shout out to all the crypto music community which are doing grateful improvements, and a lot of work is being put into that. Yeah, so I'm gonna start with the foreword. I wanted to highlight DAORecords latest release, which is called Atoms and Automatons, released by Blackheart Honeymoon. And here it goes. I love the release. There's always been already been some beats on it from Sandy Meows and Results. So shout out to you. And yeah, just wanted to mention as well that I love the TokenSmart vibe. I love listening to the podcast, the different podcasts there, and their activity in the space. That's just so inspiring. And yeah, so I love to see as well that they're collecting artworks and supporting music a lot. And yeah, really giving insightful, like very smart insight into the space. So let's go for Atom and Automatons by Blackheart Honeymoon. You can check their interview on YouTube on the DAORecords channel. So they talk about their experience. And yeah, here's the music.
Oh, let's.
Oh, here you go.
All right. Let the song play out.
We meet in the middle of the metaverse in some drama. Oh.
Wowzers.
Okay. So we are riding.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Wow, nice. Yeah, I've absolutely no idea what happened there. I was just nonstop clicking the unmute button. But we're here.
That's
We're
okay.
back.
We're here.
Like we didn't even miss a step. I mean, I can't believe that was actually like 14 minutes. I don't really know how that's possible, but
we're
here
here.
we are.
Here we are.
We've made it.
We've
Thank
made
you for
it.
holding it down.
Yeah, so let's resume and let's start the show properly. And so, yeah, I introduced the topics. I resume. You can join us on Twitch and in CryptoVoxels to see the live stream and play with us. I'm dropping the links here in the chat. And yeah, so happy to have you here. And big shout out to TokenSmart as well for being very inspiring this week again and again. So yeah, have you looked at the topic list? The topic list is now on screen.
This is actually not even gonna lie to you. This is the first time I'm getting my actual eyes on this. so this is gonna be quite interesting. But
okay,
this will be good.
That's fine.
This will be good.
So my little foreword is about 2 or 3 things I wanted to mention, the feeling about this week. And yeah, I love to see, I've seen several podcasts or talks happening on Clubhouse that are popping here and there. And I feel because of the adoption we're witnessing right now, like with the Rolling Stones article that were about crypto music that was released this week. And yeah, seeing a lot of talks here and there. There is much more content when I look at hashtag music and hashtag blockchain on Twitter that there were a few months ago. So yeah, when I was thinking about making a show a few months ago, I was wondering if I was going to be able or with help to have enough to talk each week, but now I'm like overwhelmed with all this content, talking and analyzing what's happening in the music industry and the blockchain, and so yeah, the feeling is that, and it's all about setting the 5 next years to set the foundation of the new music industry, and this will happen during the 5 next years. The combination between DeFi, blockchain, and NFTs, and so on, setting really a framework that will allow everyone to be on a level playing field, and for the first time in history, maybe do business properly when it comes to music, and on a wider scale. I mean, and yeah, so we're here to plant seeds. We cannot talk deeply into all the subjects, but we are here to, bring you ideas to then do your research, and so you can have several tracks to investigate, where depending on what you're looking for or the kind of actor you are, whether you're amateur or professional or whatever. So if you want to check the advancements of it, you can always check the map with all the article related, and the mind map about the music and blockchain space. So the link is still like geniuscorp.fr/the map. And yeah, so we are planting seeds. That's the idea. And the last shout out I want to do as a foreword is just a hello for the French community, because I've met from the last show different people from the French community, whether they are a video games player or musicians or different kinds of artists and actors, and just wanted to say a big shout out to them and play one song from Rollerdance that is French as well, and that has just done a collaboration with Harrison First, we know here on TokenSmart. And yeah, so they just released this NFT, which is called DoubleFace, and they're doing a giveaway. And so here is the song. So shout out to the French community out there. Hello, hello. C'est cool. Okay, so just a word, they released their NFT on a platform named Sign Art, which I personally don't know, I will investigate that, but yeah, so cool to see as well, new platform to mean things. So yeah, my world, here we go. What's your feeling about this week?
Dude, as always, it's fucking a fast-moving week. I honestly am still like just chilling, and just in the short term, last 10 minutes here, just trying to get myself acquainted with this list. but yeah, no, I mean, I see a few things on there that we both kind of had some experience with this week. Zora being one of them, but you know, it's a few topics down. A couple interesting things. You know, we got a large increase in some crypto interest, at least from maybe more of the mainstream, and that caused some expensive gas prices. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's
Right.
complicating when it comes to experiencing these new platforms or new things that are being released. And that was my case with Zora, and thank you for inviting me on this platform to try it. And
Absolutely, dude.
I tried to mint something, and then the gas just stopped me there. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I will see next week,
Yeah.
but I was studying the concept.
Right. I was just about to. I was gonna try post like a 20-second video, and yeah, it was like $150 in gas, and I was like, wow. But that was last week. It was ironic. We talked about gas, and I was like, yeah, I've never really had that experience. And then like the next day, I literally, I tried to do it, and I saw what it was like to be just halted by a ridiculous fee where you're just like, I don't know if I feel comfortable actually paying this.
Yeah.
And it actually started a conversation with another creator, artist, and it made us talk about, speaking of Zora, I know we're kind of jumping ahead a little bit, but I mean, if you don't mind,
No, it's good.
we just dive into it a little bit.
For sure.
But we were talking about the idea that it was it's invite only right now. I mean, for the most part, of course, you can log on and scroll, but it being whether positive or not, that it was invite only at the moment, and then also on top of that, with the extremely expensive minting costs, which I realize isn't Zora's fault. It's just the fact that it's has to do with Ethereum. But that being the case, we were just discussing, like, is this kind of in theory already creating a bit of a like a barrier to entry based on money, really, and if it was a good thing or not, and in a matter of how something like Zora can scale to people like that just don't have $150 to make a post. How does something like that get solved? And it being invite only still, it's like, once again, it just kind of seems like it and I'm not saying this is a bad thing, but it just is. It's already having a bit of like a gatekeepish vibe, whether that be from like actually knowing people to get the invite, to actually then having the money and the resources to actually post on these platforms. Because at this point, with the price of gas, we know anybody that's posting is okay to throw away like $150, or I think that maybe gas is probably a little cheaper at times, but for a whole post, which maybe it's not that expensive, but it just started the conversation of how platinums like Zora are going to scale, and how they're really adapting to like their average user, and how that affects people like him and I. So
yeah, I think those problem solves with new solutions, whether it's a more efficient blockchain technology or another layer that we're talking about, Matic, about Near, about a lot of solutions that may help improve, or even the second layer of Ethereum that may help that. But for now, it's I know some like Matic are very efficient. For example, when it comes to Ethereum and Near as well. So I can wait to see those improvements, and if those platforms can scale those solutions into, because here it's a problem, and I've seen different platforms that had the same issue back in last summer when you know the like for example Infinity NFT, which is now Infinity Tokens, just launched, and it was right in the middle. They couldn't expect that. No one could have expected that. But they just launched in the middle of a gas war, and so as minting a contract was more expensive than the average, then with the gas price, it kind of killed the vibe before it even started, because the problem was crushing pretty much everyone and all the NFT space at once, and that's what we are experiencing again these weeks. So yeah, right. We are hoping on next solutions, but that's nice to see different concepts popping in here and there, even though yeah, they're pretty much not usable as the way they were imagined, kind of.
Right. Well, it's you know, I think that was like well, I did actually see something about Matic partnering. Or I don't want to say partnering, but I saw some article with Matic is talking about helping to fix some of the problems with Ethereum. I honestly didn't read the whole article, but I did see something where Matic is partnering up or getting together with Ethereum in some fashion to help. I don't know if it has to do with gas though. I just honestly I read about that. So when you said Matic, it made me think of it.
So yeah, in connection with Zora, and to move on, yeah, I've noticed a pretty big entry in the metaverse, which is Shinoda, which I'm a big fan of, the whole Linkin Park vibe back in the days, and so I have not seen Shinoda in the blockchain space before, but I'm sure he may have been involved in some way or thought about, because he's doing a big entry right at the right place at the right time, like being one of the first user of Zora, and succeeding. He sold his first NFT for $30,000, which is pretty significant for a new platform. So yeah, I just wanted to mention this story, because
was that image that you just had up? Was that the one that sold?
Sorry again.
That right there, that's the one that sold.
Yeah, it's the one. Okay. I'm playing it out. So that's the first object, the first item Eve has ever minted. And so yeah, that's pretty significant for someone that just pop into the blockchain and crypto music. So yeah, I'm definitely curious to see what happens next. But speaking about fees and different technology, I see someone that is going very quick, which is Soulja Boy, and which has, and it was really unexpected. He released the NFT on Zilliqa with Minbase, and so it's pretty much a statement here saying, hey, there's different technology, I'm a big actor, I want the best, you know. So I want to use the most efficient, I don't want to be where all the crowd is, I'm just looking at all the files, all that I can learn about. I think he's pretty well advised as well. So he makes a statement saying, hey, I have this NFT on Rarible, which is the Ethereum network, and at the same time, I'm releasing one on Zilliqa because I understand this blockchain is really performing, when it comes to transaction cost and transaction time. So yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, it got me thinking with the Mike Shinoda one that we were talking about is how important and how much pressure should be put on that first NFT drop. And I realized that, him going for Zora for his place is almost um a little more low key of a move than maybe doing something on
Mm-hmm.
like super rare or something a little more
Yeah, because it's on
dramatized.
as it's on invite mode only. Yeah, you can have that feeling.
Yeah, I mean, do you think that, for example, I mean, I saw that, for example, his list price was 200 W ETH, and I saw that the bid was 6.66. So does that mean that he wanted 200 and then accepted 6.66? Is that what that means?
He accepted $30,000, so it's
Would that be 6.66, or that's not
probably, yes,
$30,000? Unless
not
I'm
exactly.
tripping.
I'm not good
I'm
in
okay with
math
the
right
math.
now.
It's definitely, I mean, given the price of ETH right now, I don't think that's 30,000. I guess the question would be is what is yeah, where did that 30,000 come from, and how is he making that price too? Because I know that me and Dougie, whenever we were trying to post, there was no real way to list our own price for anything, which we thought was interesting. But then, some posts it states a price, and then others it just has the option to bid on it.
Hmm.
So I don't know if
I don't know.
that's a specifically custom thing for like certain creators that Zora's doing, but I mean, yeah, no, I mean, I guess the main question I was asking was, how important is that first NFT drop, and how important is the emphasis
But
on.
I think this one is really symbolic because when you look at the title, which is 100th stream, uh, which I may be misinterpreting it, but it may be as well a statement like here's and that's what I stated on Twitter, like the price of what I will get from that first NFT will represent the money from thousands of streams, you know.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And I mean, yeah, story wise and all of that, I'm not even necessarily talking about, how he kind of packaged it creatively, but more or less, the fact that he chose Zora over like a nifty gateway, or like something maybe that maybe looks a little more dramatic. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously it was successful for him. I'm just saying that how can, average artists compare like dropping on Zora for an NFT, which of course
Mm-hmm.
obviously has limited options in terms of size, file size, I know that, versus doing something maybe a little more
Open.
collectors oriented almost, or collector branded
Yeah,
on like something else.
I came across this article that are relating the fact that Mai Shinoda has entered the blockchain, but as well as talking about NFT as new use case for music more in general. And I was surprised to see in the same article, and shout out to Panther Modern, that Panther Modern was mentioned in this article as well for his sale on Zora as well. And I love Panther Modern's work. He's a great artist, so go check him out. But yeah, I don't really know where this comes from. But I mean, the article is from musicxfuture.com, which I don't know. But yeah, they're introducing NFTs as a concept for music and the metaverse, and linking some news like the Mike Shinoda one with news from insiders in the metaverse. I mean, I'm from France. I don't realize what the success of Quantum Modern is, but I don't know if he's as influential as Mike Shinoda is. So I was pretty surprised to find them, in the same article. So big shout out to both.
Yeah, I think that's another interesting thing about what the space can do. It can put some shine on people for just being here early almost. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't really know either, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, I didn't know who Mike Shinoda was until I like looked into who Mike Shinoda was, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
So,
you don't know.
I didn't know.
What the fuck?
Didn't know my name.
Okay.
I know, yeah. I didn't know my name though.
All right. So I think we might have to move on because I really wanted to stick to the half-hour mark to introduce our guest. So maybe
Yeah.
Studio Nouveau, you can manifest yourself, whether it's in the chat or straight into the voice chat, if you can talk, if you're not muted, for sure. I hope he's not. Yeah, he's needing permission. So
it took a minute.
Yeah,
it took a minute.
Good
luck to you.
We're checking on that. So at the same time, maybe we can play the music from Studio Nouveau because he has minted as well on Zora. So I wish you can have a word about it as well and have a different perspective that we. It's so peaceful. They're doing NFTs.
Dude, that's fire right there. Wait, so I'm curious to get him up here, but was that you playing there? Like, is that him?
No,
is that studio?
It's what they just released as an NFT on Zora.
Yeah, dude, you're not. That's nice as shit right there. That's some fire playing, bro. That's interesting. See, this is a really this is something I'm really excited about. In fact, I think we'll definitely go and have the conversation. But I would love to like tag this into something that I'm actually thinking of right now. But this gives me this is such an interesting side of where NFTs and a place where guitarists and instrumentalists can really experiment here. And this is something I was like thinking about the other day. It's like, if you're an instrumental guitarist and you don't, maybe you're not getting writing credits in the band you're in or something like that, or whatever the situation is, it's really tricky, I think, as an instrumentalist to actually find yourself able to monetize unless you're giving lessons, things like that. But stuff like this, Zora and platforms where you can actually mint like simple pieces of media like that, like 20-second guitar loops or 20-second just compositions that are just guitar. That that is going to give such a new market to instrumentalists and such a new market to just those types of musicians in particular. And I've been thinking about this, and but I thought, yeah, this is really cool. And it's got me so interested in the next thing, but I would love to wait until we actually can have a chat with
and
with
until
Studio
that
himself.
I can play another NFT as well that they just released, which is called Prelude and Fugue. I know about Prelude and Fugue. I'm playing piano, so I'm all about Prelude and Fugue from Johnson.
This is in this one's on Super Rare, not Zora.
Yeah, this one's on Super Rare, and most of this work is on Super Rare as well. You can find their work on Odious as well.
Okay, so that'll be an interesting. I'm just curious, just straight up, like the thought process difference of something like Super Rare versus a Zora, and how you might approach the difference in the two.
Hey,
oh, hell yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, perfect.
Yep. Great, cool.
Super.
Yeah, so tour here.
Sorry about the sound issues. Yeah, so I was just about to play the Prelude and Fugue, and we can chat later, right
Cool.
after.
Right on.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's go. So cool. Sorry to cut it like that, but we still don't have the volume feature on Super Raw. Sorry. So shout out Super Raw. We need volume here. And welcome to Studio Nouveau, and thank you for being here to I know I asked late, but to accept talk a little bit about us.
No, my pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on.
Oh yeah.
Sure. So
yeah,
you're from New York, and you're two people in this project.
Yeah. Yep. My wife Kaya and I, we work together. So it's kind of funny.
Nice.
We've been like cooped up in our apartment during this whole pandemic, but it's really nice to get to work with your partner on something like this. So
yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, that's gonna be real special, actually. It's gonna be sick.
So yeah, you've been in the space for quite some months now. From when exactly have you discovered the NFT space?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. I'm like a professional guitarist in normal life. That's how I made my living before the pandemic. But I've also been like really into crypto for the past like couple of years, since like 2017. And in like early 2020 is when I got my first land in Decentraland, and that's kind of when I started to dive deeper into NFTs. And what I wanted to do just for fun was create a sculpture garden on my my Decentraland land, because I'm like, what am I going to do with my land? I'll just put some like abstract sculptures on it for fun. And so that's kind of how I got into NFTs at first. And once the pandemic rolled around and kind of all work halted, musically speaking, I just kind of started looking at what to do from there. And I just started connecting the dots about bringing music to NFTs. And it's something, I'm sure if you're a musician and you're into crypto, you must have thought about like, how can this apply to the music industry? Everything's so messed up in the music industry. And it just kind of clicked at some point in like, March, April. And then I like, it's so funny looking back on it. Some of my friends who recently joined the space, we have like a text thread from back then where I was like, I wrote them this manifesto about what I wanted, like this music NFT platform I was going to create, which never ended up happening. But I ended up deciding to just make my own kind of audio visual stuff with my wife. But anyway, I don't want to ramble on too much. But
No, that's fine. That's
so
fine.
like May, June was kind of when we really started getting Studio Nouveau together. And then we minted our first audiovisual pieces in like July.
Okay, great. Yeah, so kind of the same time frame that I had as well, like March, starting to connect with one or two artists and then completely dive in. And that's, pretty much where we met as well. But I thought that you were early on the Decentraland, and that was a gift, because now when I look at a parcel, it's pretty much more expensive than something like CryptoVoxel, for example. But I love, and I wanted to talk about it. So on screen, we're in your parcel in Decentraland, which you've made different gallery exhibitions now. And the current one being about the NFT music history. And I know that's something we had a little bit in common together. Like we like music history, and we are kind of investigating it. So
totally,
yeah, that's fascinating, especially when it comes to the blockchain, because like it's history on the record. So yeah, there's much more interest to start this right now, because it can be tracked anywhere in the world, and you can find gems and everything. So yeah, and I've seen that you want to, find what's the oldest piece of music NFT that have ever existed, and that you were into pretty good way to find those. And that's what the exhibition is about today. So for anyone that want to connect, you can go into the Studio Nouveau Twitter and find the Decentraland link to visit the collection. But maybe you can talk about it.
Yeah, totally. Thanks so much for bringing it on screen. And just to be clear, this is stuff in our personal collection, which I'm really proud of. We do have quite a few things, but there's such a rich body of stuff otherwise. And so the DJ Pepe that you have up there, because I've been diving so deep, the actual DJ Pepe himself, he was kind enough to actually send us one for our collection. So I created like a wrapped version of it so I could display it, because you like call the NFT on Ethereum to display it in places like Decentraland. But we have this was created on Counterparty on the Bitcoin blockchain in 2016. So it's pretty, like, I created this ETH version on OpenSea for free on their new, just for utility purposes.
But yeah, I've heard about the Bitcoin version back in the days. I've heard Skrilla talking about it a lot, because he was pioneering, and as well as Robness, a few artists that were experimenting music NFT at the time. You can confirm.
Totally. Yeah, and it's kind of neat. You can on the wallet interface, the rare Pepe wallet interface, there's like this bonus content page when you own one of these cards, it allows you to play this playlist that they curate. So it's pretty fascinating.
Okay, I get the idea. But here with the Ethereum version, it's not possible to reach to the music. It's just symbolic, right?
Yeah, it's just I just made that so I could post it in the gallery, basically.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. But you have a pretty nice collection. I'm kind of jealous as well, because I would wish to collect a lot of music NFTs, way much more than I can afford myself to do. But I'm doing symbolically I thought like we had kind of the same idea, because that's what I'm about as well with the vinyl shop in CryptoVoxel. Kind of different vibes, because I'm trying not to highlight the history, but more like the news, the newest one, and that's something from my father that had a vinyl shop, and that was always, you know, providing the newest music. So I'm inspired from that vibe, but that's kind
So
of the
cool.
same intention, you know, to showcase the music, and through catalysts like us, people can really realize the dimension of the space and the community already there, all the contents and pieces that already exist on the blockchain, but which are pretty complicated for someone new to discover or to put together. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just have so much respect for everyone involved here. And, you know, I have some I was lucky to grab one of the ones from your album too, which is up higher on one of the upper floors. Because I basically did it in like chronological order. So like the oldest ones are on the first floor,
Okay.
and they're on. Um,
Yeah,
so
I
I
can
just
recognize Split, Joe Craig. Big shout out to the community. Yours as well, uh, Civic, and yeah, Connie Digital as well for sure.
and I'm also
Sixla,
really excited about the
Rack.
NFTweets.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you are working on this in regards to the music, to reporting the music NFT history, and I find that very clever, as like it really showcases, you know, because music is about history. I mean, around the pieces, there's the pieces, the art, but it's all about the drama around, and so on. So yeah, minting tweets is definitely interesting when it comes to music as well. And I know you bought one of my tweets actually, and
Yeah.
so thank you a lot for that. And yeah, so here is my NFTs right there on the wall.
Yeah, and one of the drum kit pieces
Yeah.
too. And one interesting thing about the NFTweets too is they're not on like I can't like transfer the NFTs yet. It's still like they're still working on that. But um, one of the ones downstairs that was a Connie Digital NFT that was meant to be attached to a particular track of his. When he originally tweeted about that in like 2018 or 2019,
Is that
it had
holding?
a recording. Nope, the one around the corner
Yeah,
with his face on it.
yeah.
He tweeted the actual recording of it. So I bought that tweet from him as an
Hmm.
NFT, and that kind of gives it an interesting context. Like I have that tweet that can be attached to this original NFT that was minted at that time. So it's just kind of interesting.
Mm. Yes, it is. It is.
Yeah, do you have
I
a
actually
thought
had a.
on that, Mai?
I was letting you guys just ride there, but I've been waiting to ask maybe just a few random questions. So you've been experimenting, and I say experimenting just because it's also new, so we don't, I don't think any of us are 100% certain on what's how to judge any of it yet, in a long-term spectrum, but
Yeah.
just from your short-term perspective, you've minted a piece on Zora now, you've minted, a few on Super Rare, and you're pretty heavy into collecting yourself. Um, but from your perspective, is particularly even as a guitarist, how do you kind of judge the difference of how you're viewing your your pieces of content, and are you seeing Zora in places maybe like that as a different medium for certain pieces of content versus Super Rare? And how are you thinking about that in the future? And do you see like Zora versus a Super Rare, drawing you to do different things creatively?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And just
Hmm.
to give a little context, um, the our first pieces, like the first 10 pieces we minted on Super Rare, that makes up our first album, like our first blockchain album, where all the tracks of the album are each an audiovisual piece. And the 10th NFT is the album cover. But I composed a track that took themes from all the different each track and made it into one. And the image is also an AI combination of all of the images from that first album too. But with Zora, I've kind of been watching RAC. He's been kind of talking about Zora a lot, and I know that he was like hyped on it. And I think one of the first Zora NFTs is RAC posting a track, and so the vibe that I'm getting from Zora is it's much more kind of friendly to people who want to just post a straight up audio file. You can see what it looks like. It seems like it's more friendly to musicians for no reason in particular, but I just kind of wanted to post a music piece that still had our visual. I feel like we try to maintain a visual style that's recognizable too. So I wanted to include that still image, but I just wanted to. I've been also looking for more excuses to do more guitar stuff. So the ninth track on our first album has like this kind of uh, shredding lead stuff. So, but I wanted to do like solo guitar stuff, and I've been looking for an opportunity, and so that's kind of the idea behind the Zora piece that we put out.
Yeah, definitely. And so would you almost say it like Zora is like a place like where you could find some voice memos type vibes? More something like that? Like a
I'm
voice memo
seeing that.
of a bigger piece almost. Like, hey, here's the raw file of where, maybe you could find the bigger piece on Super Rare, or like, a more complete finalized polished version on something like Super Rare, but then you have something that might still be valued just as much, maybe financially, but in terms of creative like, polish, it has like maybe more of like a not lo-fi, but like a little more of like a uh raw, like esoteric, like rare. It's rare in the sense of like it's not polished. Like I would say a voice memo would be incredible to like have if say you wrote a tune, right? And the full recorded well done composition is found on Super Rare with the visual, but maybe you have a version of that in its raw voice memo form on something like Zora. Is this maybe a way in which you're thinking about it, or maybe am I like generalizing too much from your perspective?
No, no. I definitely see people doing that sort of thing on Zora, and I think that's kind of the cool thing about the platform is it seems like it's very open to people just expressing themselves. Like I'm almost viewing Zora as just seeing what people are posting. It almost looks like a social media where each
Yeah,
of
it
your
kind of look
posts
like
is an
Instagram
NFT, and
to me.
Definitely.
so for the pieces that we intend to put on there, I do intend them to be just as serious as like our super rare pieces. Like we don't really put out a ton of work. Like for Studio Nouveau anyway, we want each piece to be like a sacred release. Like that's how we
Right,
kind of
right.
view it.
Absolutely.
But I definitely think it's like Zora seems like a very open platform where people can just do like a voice memo that is special to them, or so
Yeah.
I think it's definitely an open vibe.
Yeah,
Right.
it kind of make it easier to think that way and to open your perspective because it is not based on curation and well, for now it's on invite mode only, but when it will be open, I can definitely feel a kind of Instagram vibe from how they put it right now. And I remember
Yeah.
the RAC talking about Zora back in the days, but I think it was like a partnership they made, but the platform was not released yet, and they helped and collaborated together to release his track through their technology. But now it's open, we can explore it and see what's up. And from now it kind of look as an Instagram vibe, but that doesn't mean that you can particularly go into voice memo mode or into a high crafted piece. I think it's open for
Right.
both, and that's what we see with Instagram as well. We can see some pretty dope things on Instagram, and as well as someone posting a selfie, and sometimes regarding the community which it's for, it has value the same way. It's all
Right.
about the community in the end that puts the value
Totally.
into the content, I think.
I totally agree. No, I totally agree. Yeah, it's up to
Definitely.
the community and the creator, and just how we kind of experiment with it and see, where our heads are at. That's kind of why I was curious. Is you're actively kind of creating things for the Web3 world. I'm just curious if how you were thinking about that.
Hmm.
But yeah, there's
Totally.
infinite. There's no right or wrongs for sure, and there's no 100% answer for that yet. Now I was curious, since you're a guitarist, um, at heart, I think that there's something that I'm actually toying with right now, and it's kind of a side idea, but I think it might be relative. You might have a good perspective on it, so I'm gonna utilize you while you're here. Um,
Sure.
so basically, let's just say, I'll be vague because I don't want to oust anybody yet, but let's say that there's a fairly well known guitar company, and they build guitars for some well known musicians and artists throughout the world. And this is if there's gonna be a few sides of question there, like, about this, legal aspects to it, and then also just interest from the market. But so let's say that this guitar company wanted to start to create some NFTs around their company, and I've been toying around with the idea myself, and they have come to me with the idea of basically minting these collectibles around the guitars that were built for the guitarist, and then have the guitarist kind of join with them in creating these moments, um, whether that's 20-second pieces of guitar work, or something with the axe, with the guitar, that was custom built for them, as well as images and maybe a bit of of the process of how that guitar was built, with other aspects kind of tied into it.
And in
But the
relation
idea essentially,
to the music, like to the actual solos in the records
that
used
yeah,
with those
yeah,
guitars and so on.
right, right, it could go absolutely to as
Like
far as
we
that,
were
right?
talking about the Stairway to Heaven solo NFT,
Yes.
kind of, like the NBA's Top Shot moments.
Well, that was my reaction. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
I'm hearing like NBA Top Shot meets like Guitar Hero, you know?
Exactly,
Bang,
exactly.
bang.
That's the
Right,
that's the thing. Maybe
right,
you
100%.
guys should talk together.
No, dude, absolutely. I would love to talk more about that, but it's interesting. And I mean, like, what do you think? Like, do you think that there would be a market for things like that right now? I mean, like, this is a well. Let's just. I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't want to drop any names right now, but like, this is a pretty well known. He's or sorry, he's guitar company isn't necessarily super, like, it's not like Gibson well known, but like they almost partner with Gibson. Like, they are well known like that, and they've built guitars for
It's about the
literally
Guitar Hero
rock stars.
vibe, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a boutique guitar company that is literally only built custom guitars for, just literally, like, American rock stars, and British rock stars as well, actually. But I'm just curious, like, what do you think that there would be a market for that type of collectible? And how would somebody, like that, go about kinda getting, their ethos, in a market like this, which is, I think, you gotta kinda establish some sort of storyline before people take you seriously, and I don't think that's a bad thing either. It just essentially means that, we respect this Web3 world. I think the majority of the market respects the Web3 world so much that we just want to make sure that whatever is coming into it, we can kind of trust is here for more than just profit, but to actually give value in a place that doesn't currently exist, in a way to assign value to things that just currently don't have maybe as much value. And yeah, just, I mean, overall take
Totally.
on a guitar company doing stuff like that. I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I'm of the belief that NFTs will be everywhere you look. You know, people can attach value in all sorts of ways that have been done and have not been done, and so I definitely think that would be awesome. And I just so strongly believe in all kinds of use cases for NFTs in the music world, and I continue to be surprised at how kind of I'm really big on I hear people sometimes say like, I don't really get the whole music side of this. Like, they're like waiting for something new to be made for music to be NFTs, but I strongly believe it's exactly the same as the crypto art usage of it. And however you apply that to physicals, I think it's here. Like you can already do it all, and I'm
Definitely.
just going to keep doing my version of it until it's popular, and I think it's
For
going to
sure.
happen,
For
but
sure,
I don't care
absolutely. That's the
when.
best way to do it for sure.
Yeah,
But I can definitely see that being a thing.
yeah, as
Yeah.
well.
And I know Mighty and I both share the same sentiment that ultimately NFTs will find its way into every aspect of every creative content avenue of all time and beyond, more than even
Yeah,
content that doesn't even exist yet, you know?
reaching your
I mean, shit,
fridge.
less than
Yeah,
half of music
NFT
is
in
gonna be
your
I
fridge.
NFT.
think part of the difficulty is that it's so foreign to how musicians make money currently and how they like solidify their IP and stuff. It's just really, it seems like it's a really foreign thing to a lot of people. So I think that's kind of part of the difficulty too.
Yeah, that's why
True.
it's important to document and like you're doing and like we try to do as well. And that's why I was thinking about you to help us talk and analyze this moment right now. And I'm really happy to have your words about this. And this opens me to like the next topic, which is I discovered, it's Ditto music. Maybe you've heard about this. It's a distributor, is a distribution service where you can send your music to Spotify. Hello, sorry,
Yeah, yeah. You good?
cable,
Yeah, you still there?
Ah,
A little
cable
scratchy.
issue. Okay,
Okay,
I
no
think
worries.
it's good. Sorry, cable issue. So Ditto Music is a distributor, a streaming platform distributor, traditional, and we're talking about $1 billion company. So they're here for a while now, and they're investigating a blockchain solution to implement their business. And so they just launched or are about to launch two services, or in collaboration with other actors as well, which are Blue Box, and the other one is um, Opulus. And basically, there are the guys that want to build our future dashboard, like the big dashboard where you can manage every income that from the music and the blockchain, whether it's about licensing, whether it's about touring, ticketing, anything, all into one, dashboard, which is pretty much the vision for the future, I think, from my perspective. And so yeah, I just wanted to highlight their work and their release. And the second platform, Opulus, is about crowdfunding through DeFi. So they will be working on combining DeFi technology and music, which is pretty new because we've seen streaming platforms, we've seen NFTs, but not much DeFi tools really attached to the music yet. So this will be interesting, and from my point of view, I think we'll start to unlock and to build the first layer. These kinds of initiatives create the first layer, the foundation of the music industry 2.0 we are trying to reach.
Definitely. This is super interesting, actually. Yeah, I would love to see this thing in action. This is gonna like I think we talked about this once before, but all of this is going to kind of require artists to become much more accountable for every avenue of their distribution, and really their finances about everything. This is really gonna enable like a whole generation of very like self accountable creators, which is great. I mean, like, I think, this is a very strange comparison, but I look at it like TikTok. TikTok really, very similarly. It's a bit of a stretch, but what I mean is like TikTok enables people to be very creative, very, very easily, I think. It allows the average person to just pick up their phone and be very creative visually and content wise, like just right there. And the tools are there to enable them to be very creative very quickly. And I think that with all of these tools that are going to come out to kind of not automate necessarily, but to ease the lifting of all of this development that's going on, including, I think, at one point or another, gas fees, even, which I mean, maybe that's further away than I and most people hope, but who knows? But yes, but basically, seeing platforms and technologies come out that are gonna make all of this much easier to handle, but at the same time, it will cause, I think, there will be have to be some sort of meet in the middle where artists will have to become once again more accountable and just more self-reliant on what they wanna do to, like, actually build, their own platform. So I think this is a great thing for sure, but, yeah,
Mm.
just something that I was thinking about.
Yeah, like the question I want to ask Studio Nouveau is about we can check you can check this article on the map because I'm listing all these articles, and this one is very interesting about self-sovereignty, identity, and music in Web3, and it's relating those new platforms from Ditto Music and talking about how decentralized identity will help artists to manage their assets through one dashboard. And that's the idea that I've met back in 2017 when Imogen Heap was imagining already this kind of cross dashboard with the identity included and the royalties and everything. That's where I discovered Musicoin, sorry, actually back in the days. And but what's your point of view, Studio Nouveau, on the necessity of a first layer, something like a standard we all can agree on and work? Like, is this how you see it as well?
Yeah, it's funny you bring up Imogen Heap because I actually went to this event in New York City like a couple of years ago where she was actually speaking about this,
Mm-hmm.
the creative passport and everything.
Yeah.
And that is definitely, like, to me, an obvious use case for this technology as well. And that's the thing. It's there's so many ways that blockchain can create efficiencies in the music industry that don't exist already. So um, it's I think it's sad that it hasn't been explored as much, very much yet. But I am super excited for when it does, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it has a lot of potential. So.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Definitely something to look forward to at the very least. I mean, we can definitely be optimistic, and this is we're definitely entering the golden era of being creators of all sorts. Whether you're an instrumentalist, and I think this just gives a lot more um, hope to even the younger generations who are coming up right now. Like, I mean, imagine a 10-year-old right now, them wanting to create right now is much, much, much more fathomable because they're going to come up, and these technologies are going to be developed more and more, and people like us are going to help kind of trial and error and pave the way a bit, and it'll enable a lot more people to be able to be creative and to actually be financially stable in that way. Whereas before this whole world, it was very it was like a pipe dream in a lot of ways. But I mean, of course, we wouldn't be here if we weren't optimistic about changing that. So it's good. It's good to be here and optimistic ultimately for the future
yeah,
with all this.
yeah, definitely. And I do share the same thought that it is kind of sad that it hasn't already happened like long ago. But we know there's technology, the technology part of it. But also that if we had no technology, sorry, I'm thinking at the same time, if we didn't have this technologic opportunity today, it makes me think like it's crazy to see how the gatekeepers and all the industry for 70 years has taken advantage of not having a proper foundation. And then there's the internet and as there was no rules or no tools as well to to manage what we are foreseeing now with the blockchain. It seems like taking back control has to go through force, because if we hadn't this technology, maybe the bad industry would have, continued to take advantage for long times and, keeping their position. Do you see what I'm trying to point at?
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think in my experience in the music industry myself, it kind of makes sense when you think about how to me, it's partially a generational thing too. Like certainly, there's people who, I'm in my 20s, and certainly there's people older than that who are like, all about crypto. But there's so many people who are in kind of structural positions in like the music industry still that they're not jumping for new technologies necessarily. So I feel like it's also a generational shift that will just happen over time.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. I mean, generational, and also just because it's like it's just like a psychological shift.
It's
like,
a
like I was
tsunami.
saying, because and somebody said one of the last comments is yeah, next generation will blow this up, and it was kind of like what I was saying. It's like eventually these platforms will be so easy to use that eventually there will be a generation of people that will find just the most creative, unique ways to do it that will just draw in their crowd. And I think that's like how everything blows up is the youth finds it, they find a way to kind of take it over, and then it like really really pops. But I think this one will maybe be a little more controlled, but it won't be as like
Yeah.
random as something like TikTok. Um but yeah,
I should acknowledge too, like, for Studio Nouveau, like I'm doing like every aspect of the music from like writing to mastering, like every step of
Mm-hmm.
the way. So it's kind of easy for me to tokenize this music because it's all like I'm doing everything. So I definitely acknowledge that it's easier for me to, create like a full album when I don't have to worry about like splits and all the other stuff. And
Yeah.
I'm
absolutely.
super grateful to Vandal and DAORecords for helping do the distribution for our music, which was a huge help because I don't
Mm-hmm.
really, I am not too knowledgeable about that stuff. So huge shout out to them. But yeah,
Oh yeah,
Okay.
and I mean, yeah, it just goes back to the point of like musicians will have more incentive to kind of be their own team, which I mean, we
yeah,
know just from the past 10 years, even you have artists that have kind of done that and proven that, whether they're like behind the scenes ghostwriting producer, superhumans, or they're like actually artists where they produce, mix, master all their own stuff. And the before fucking the last 10 years, that was like that was crazy. Like that's just not heard of because technology once again has evolved to where it's so easy that anybody with a laptop can kind of create their own stuff. But it also
totally.
going forward, it is gonna once again incentivize us to be our own team and to be more accountable as creators. But it's all a good thing. But you're totally right. I do think that it benefits the people that are doing it all themselves for sure, for sure.
Yeah, no, well said. Yeah,
No, that make me think that yeah, for me it will be a tsunami like the internet was a tsunami for the company, and even though they are trying to control it, there's always a way for people to go around and still keep the control. And we have had just a great example through the Wall Street bet story. And even though the ones that try to control the things they are in control, then the beautiful people of the internet are just making a statement like, hey, don't forget we're here and we know how to use the tool. And that's what I wish for the future of the music industry, and that's what I think will be a real tsunami, even though the gatekeepers will try to, and that's where the hope is, even though they will try to keep their position and make it not happening, or try to profit off of that before the people do. But in the end, whether you adapt from being in the side of the people, adoption, whether you are going to be pretty much eaten live on the road, because the tsunami will be as big as it was in the with the internet, and people being smart with it and wanting to take back control over it.
Totally.
Right.
So I think that's it for
not to just say one final point, but it is going to be interesting to see how basically regulatory-esque bodies want to come in and how they're going to basically make this when it goes big, when it pops in that way that we kind of are all kind of optimistic that it will. What will be the reaction of the same people that basically said basically told Robin Hood, hey, you can only sell, or you can only you can only sell, or which they basically blocked one of the other. So it's it just shows that there's still power in an unfair way right now, and I'm just curious how, once this thing does pop, what's going to be the
it's like
what's
where
going to be the reaction, what's going to be the real reaction.
It's like, where will the tax come from around those, and how it will be, how there will be opportunity to not make it happen, like we have this utopia about it.
And that's kind of, to me, the biggest promise of like Ethereum is, and DeFi is kind of building, and decentralized applications. You're building this infrastructure where a company, it's out of their hands. They can't kind of control the process one way or another.
You can sue
kind of
you can still sue the people in real life. I mean, there's always, even though the content itself will still be on the blockchain, but you can make the life of someone difficult, or I don't know, but
right.
We'll see what's about it in the future. We'll experiment it together. But
absolutely,
there's beautiful hopes as well, and let's be optimistic about it, and let's diffuse the positive and the powerful vibe through creating art and documenting the whole movement to put fuel into it and make it happen faster. It's all about a speed race as well, I feel. It's like when the faster everyone adopts, or artists, the music industry, take control of those tools, the speed can be won that way through the underground culture, and at some point, I guess, some kind of mainstream cyberculture based around the blockchain. But this will be, for me, the real strength of where the battle occurs between the people trying to take control versus the one trying to profit off of that.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we're pretty much done with this topic, and we're not far from the end of the show. And I really appreciate you being here, Studio Nouveau. I will put all the links in the replay description of the show, so people can check your work, whether it's on Supera, on Zora, or on Audius. And feel free to send me another link if you want me to showcase your work as well. And as well, this one, Decentraland, the NFT music history exhibition, and your work with your collection is as well very, very interesting to go check. And thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. No, it's really an honor, and really had fun talking with you guys. So thanks.
Same.
Thank you.
Same, but you can stay until we are going for a 1 hour and a half mark, and we have like a last last thoughts, where it's a kind of a topic where we kind of imagine the future. And there were just two subjects I wanted to mention this week, and it was about live platforms in the future, in platform where you perform live based on cryptocurrency, and as well as ticketing 2.0. But just before, I wanted to play some music, just for, because we were talking a lot, I felt. And and the music is from Craig Blackmoore, so big shout out to him. I love this one. It's on Audius, and he's an amazing artist as well. He's linked with DAORecords and as well as TokenSmart, and he has an awesome gallery as well in Crypto Voxels. I just said it. So let me play this tune, some Candy, Roman Candy, Frozen Turtle mix, and yeah, and we'll imagine the future right after. Let's go. Okay, so here we are back, and let's imagine the future. I've just seen through my researches that I'm looking for it, sorry, on screen. But yeah, that's the idea. The GET protocol seems to be something where tickets are it's possible to make ticketing through that protocol pretty well, and so it seems to be some connections happening right now, because I see Anthony Pompolino and other people involved as well into talking about this, and which is the idea that and that's what it's written there. It ends ticket scalping. You earn money from the secondary market. You can interact with ticket holders. You can finance your events. You can make special NFT tickets and way more. And yeah, that's interesting to see such initiatives that are specifically related to ticketing, and because as well ticketing is not reserved to the music industry, but that's a perfect use case here, because we know about the gigs, the situation with the COVID, so artists are not allowed to live off of their live music revenues. And you talked about it, Studio Nouveau, just before, and so yeah, there's some solution that are coming here and there to target these specific fields.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I mean, dude, is there anybody that's really in this space right now that's trying to kind of? I mean, I know that I mean, I guess I do it every week with with Vando and DAORecords with Strictly Ballin', where there's a weekly live events in his crypto voxels parcels. So I guess that there is people doing it, but I mean, I'm curious how something like that could actually be, um, how that could be expanded and like get a bigger event together and see what it would see how difficult it would be to if there is a market for selling virtual tickets, you know what I mean? And to get like a
Yeah,
metaverse
definitely.
concert.
Definitely. Like organizing some events, some private events in the future where whether
Like
it's
all unreleased music or something, like something that's,
yeah,
you're just simply not gonna get anywhere else.
or it's like
Which
sub
is
tickets,
super interesting.
when you go into a stadium, you have the golden tickets or the regular tickets or different kinds of things happening, and we haven't seen that a lot in the internet right now, where you could think of some ticketing system a little bit like the nifty gateways drops into 30 kind of tickets that allows different kind of experience when it comes to live music, and we will talk about live music right after. But yeah, you can imagine some multi-layered ticketing experience through those kinds of and as well controlling 100% of your assets pretty much yourself or with your team. So yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, no. Just that alone just got me thinking.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't want to just like randomly talk about the same thing, but yeah, I love the idea of throwing like a private event, doing very exclusive things that you're only gonna see at that event, and it would just have to be very very uh like well understood that like everything that happens at those events, like you're just simply never gonna see anywhere else. But that'd be interesting. I'd be curious to see how something like that would would do.
Yeah, yeah. From my perspective, it's in relation as well with the live music, cryptocurrency based system where you could kind of like Twitch. I think maybe that's the way the direction Twitch is going in the future. But maybe there will be newer system with different kind of features, but that are based on an economy. And I was working on this kind of project 4 years ago, but which has failed because life happened and we weren't able to do this project at this time. But it was exactly this. It was a Twitch for music, basically, where you connect, you go to the homepage, and then you have all the show lives and all the conditions to go through the show. Some would be free, some would be uh, not free. Sorry.
Right. I mean, well,
You could
even
tip.
making
You could invest in the artist. Um Merchandising and have and then when I think of ticketing, it's kind of make me think about all that ecosystem that will take place mostly, I think, on the run.
yeah, and it'll be interesting to see if people instead of valuing it in money, they issue NFTs that will be earned through like a process, and that's how you can kind of get in. So, for example, maybe you have to uh something basic like sign up for their newsletter and like follow them everywhere, and you can get this NFT rewarded to you, and then that gets you into the event.
Hmm.
Things like that. Instead of maybe making it actually a monetary thing, but
Yeah, so this is it. I
something to be
think we
experimented with.
we planted the seeds, and now you can go do your homework, and that's the moment where we would have to close the show after 1 hour and a half time mark. So, what do you think about ending here?
I mean, hey, if we're at the end, then I suppose we could definitely wrap it up. Um, yeah, I mean, is there anything, any final thoughts for this week? I feel like we dragged on a few topics, but and it's not a bad thing. I think we got some good thoughts going this week. It was a good guest.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Yeah,
thoughts?
thanks again a
Additional?
lot to Studio Nouveau, and big shout out to your work as well. And yeah, for me, like this week has been pretty intense because a lot of work, and we are working on things together as well, and different projects, very interesting projects that I would love to talk about later. Uh, but
Definitely.
yeah, that was pretty intense. That was my feeling of the week. Pretty intense week, but
Yeah,
yeah, very hopeful
definitely.
when it comes to the new perspectives, the new tools, and the news we see every day, and big news. The kind of news that want to make you wake up and move yourself to, continue to innovate and to experiment in that space. You know,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah. And we do have you have been grinding heavy these past couple days to finish up some things that we're working on, and I'm super excited to get the first listen actually right after this.
yeah,
Either that or I'm gonna end up falling back asleep. Which I mean,
yeah, same for me.
it's one of the one or the
But
other.
yeah,
But
people stay tuned. There's big things that will be coming to your ears very soon.
yes, very exciting. Um well, did we have another outro?
Not a song. I have not prepared anything, but I feel we're kind of a down vibe. But it's just, I think, because it
Yeah.
has been a very exhausting week. But we're very excited about all this inside. But the world has been pretty tough right now. So we're here. We're motivated. We're super happy to be here. Thank you for the show. Thank you for everyone participating in the chat as well. TokenSmart, this is awesome to be here and to participate. And yeah, so I wish everyone a very good week. Thank you, Studio Nouveau, for being the first guest in our show, and we will be working on more insights from the community, because it's very interesting talks. Because we are digging a lot, but it's even more interesting when we share with other people involved in the space. So yeah, thank you again for all your participation. I will be putting the replay very soon right after. And yeah, some promotion for the artist we played. New release from geniuscorp. I've been working on it, which is Sadandsolo. Big up for DAORecords and their latest release with Blackheart, Honeymoon, and the events, the DAO drops, and the Strictly Bailin that will be featured with Skrilla this week. Shout out to Rollerdance and the French community, and Harrison First, that they are collaborating together. Shout out to the Craig Blackmoore as well, and all the big stars coming in. Shout out to Shinoda, Soulja Boy, Panther Modern. You're in the big stars now. And yeah, so I wish everyone a good week, and see you next week for a big other episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah, thanks everybody for coming out coming out to the Web3.
Yeah, welcome to the
No,
Web3.
yes, no. We
Where
appreciate
things are
everybody.
grinding all
Very
day.
happy to be here as always. But yeah, until next week.
Until
Everybody
next week.
enjoy their week.
TokenSmart team. Shout out to everyone. See you next week. Goodbye. Out. Meowt.
See ya. Bye.